Episode 4 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series had some really interesting things going on with Leia, with Obi-Wan, and with everybody's favorite Inquisitor, Reva. So let's dive into the Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 4 discussion right now. Let's get it. What's up, Acolyte Squad? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. We're discussing Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 4. We're going to break this up into talking about Obi-Wan, talking about Leia, and talking about everybody's favorite Inquisitor, Reva Sevender. All right, so first thing I wrote, and this is all pertaining to Obi-Wan and his arc, his journey through this episode, his development, was, we got introduced to Taylor, who works for the Empire, but she's kind of a deserter at this point. And she's part of the Path. The Path, they're helping people because basically the Empire is hunting anyone who's Force sensitive, right, or believed to be Force sensitive, right? So she says we've got to get Obi-Wan to Jabim after he was injured in his duel with Darth Vader in the last episode. And one of the things that I immediately picked up on was there was this message of rebirth, right? Obi-Wan Kenobi is in the bacta tank, and I said this is like being in the baptismal waters, right? There was this juxtaposition of Obi-Wan, of Ben, and then Vader. They're both in the bacta tank, and if you pay attention, when Obi-Wan emerges from the bacta tank, he's wearing Jedi robes, right? Before he was just being, I'm a meat packer on Tatooine. I got my hood on, kind of like a Jedi, but this is really just regular clothes that everybody wears on Tatooine for sun protection, right? He's going to mount a rescue for Leia. Now, this dude doesn't have full command of the Force. He's not General Obi-Wan Kenobi of the Clone Wars hero, right? He's old Ben, or he's not yet old Ben, but he's Ben from, the Dune Sea on Tatooine. But yo, man, he's like, hey, man, you got to believe in yourself when nobody else does, right? Isn't that a meme, right? Believe in yourself when nobody else does. The only thing is everybody else believes in him. He's got to believe in himself, and he's got to reestablish his connection to the Force, right? He's got to find his center, right? So they're traveling to Noor. This is the planet. It's a water planet, an aquatic planet where the Inquisitorius is, and it's in the Mustafar system, right? And this is getting into Leia's arc. One of the questions I asked was, I haven't played it, but we know from Jedi Fallen Order, the Cal Kestis video game, that Cal Kestis has been there. He knows all about Noor. And I was asking, like, where is he? Is what Obi-Wan Kenobi doing here? Is that going to relate or tie into Cal Kestis' thing? And we find out that, there's basically this Jedi kind of graveyard on the bottom, on the lower levels. What is it? G-17 classified level of Noor, where we believe that that Palpatine is keeping Order 66 bodies, right, so that he can experiment on these Jedi, in his quest to create Snoke, and all of this stuff everything ends up tying into the sequel trilogy that that a certain section of the Star Wars fandom hates, and they're like, oh man, this has nothing to do, this ruined the original saga, and now is what I've been saying for the last going on 3 years now, is that Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, all this stuff on Disney Plus would bring the original saga completely in line with the sequel trilogy, and completely in line, like lay the seeds for all of that stuff, and say, yo man, no, this was what was happening all along, and here it is. Now you can connect it. And in that the book that's coming out, or it might already be out, I don't know, because I haven't been keeping up on the books, but it turns out that Luke and Lando were trying to save Rey's parents from, Ochi the Bestoon, or the Sith assassin that they find in that they get the dagger from in The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, so the whole time Luke and Lando are like trying to rescue young Rey before she ends up getting stranded on Jakku, right? So we're probably gonna find out that Luke knew all about Rey all along, but he just didn't know exactly where she was. Right, or maybe he just chose, hey, maybe she's better off where she is. If I know where she is, then Snoke can find her too. All right. So like I was saying, this is all laying the seeds for all of that, and getting back to tying the original saga to The Rise of Skywalker. Who ends up being Rey's teacher by that point is Leia, right? And so right here we're laying the seeds. I told you guys on the old channel a long time ago that man, it's being retconned into the original saga that Leia is using the Force, but she's not aware of it, right? You go back after you read that retelling, that new novel that retells A New Hope from different points of view and adds new information to it, that Leia used the Force to resist Vader's interrogation on the Death Star, right? So we see Leia has been kidnapped and tortured by Reva, and Reva's trying to pull the thoughts from Leia's mind about the path, and Leia's able to resist, and Reva's like, oh, you're strong, but she never puts it together, ding ding, that she's strong. She's able to resist you because she's the daughter of Anakin Skywalker, right? She's the daughter of the chosen one, that strong Skywalker blood, right? The Force runs strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. My sister has it. You have that power too, Leia, right? So Leia's able to resist her because she has the Force. On top of that, you look at Leia's connection to her droid, right? Who had a strong connection to droids? Anakin, right? So Luke wasn't really too attached to droids, right? C-3PO and R2-D2 don't come into his life until right before, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru get turned into barbecue, thank courtesy of the Empire, right? And yeah, he ends up having this close ties to R2, but that's because R2 knows what's up. Like, yo, man, I know your daddy, I know your mammy and your pappy, and I've been with your sister this whole time. And now, hey, big dog, I'm riding with you. So R2's been part of the family from day A. As a matter of fact, R2 came from Naboo, right? So he been hanging out with Padme, right? He's like, hey man, we go way back, right? So they're doing, so like part of this is establishing Leia's connection to Anakin. Part of this series, like pay attention to that. Pay attention to all the ways that they're trying to connect, that Leia's got attributes of Anakin that Luke doesn't have. She's the missing piece of the puzzle, right? Everything, because we looked at the original saga all these years as Anakin's the chosen one, and Luke helps redeem him. But where is Leia? And then we get to the sequel saga and the books and whatnot that tell more of the story, that flesh out the story even more. And Leia's like, yo, man, I didn't really, Luke had his moment with my father, but I didn't really have that. My only memory is he tortured me on the Death Star, and and me running from Vader, and I'm the rebellion, he's the Empire, he's the face of the Empire, and we weren't really on good terms. And now it's like, yo man, but Anakin, the man behind the mask, the man that Vader, if from a certain point of view Anakin and Vader aren't the same, right? That Vader wanted to bury Anakin, and in the process of burying Anakin, he would want to bury Leia too, because she has all of the things that Luke doesn't have, right? That that he's trying to get rid of, right? Because that's going to remind him. And you think about what nearly turned Luke to the dark side is when Vader said, oh, well, I don't really need you. What if we turn sister? Huh? Oh, Luke, your thoughts betray you. You have a sister. Oh, now Obi-Wan Kenobi's failure is complete, right? I'm going to go after Leia, right? And that's when Luke loses it. And unleashes on Vader and cuts his hand off, and it's like, oh shoot, I'm about to strike down my father and make my descent complete to the dark side, the Force, right? So Leia's able to shield her thoughts from Reva, and like I said, I just went completely off on something, right? Now, the most interesting thing about this episode is Reva, right? Reva is not a villain, but she's the antagonist, right? I got a bunch of people clapping at me because I said, yo, man, if you're paying attention to the discussion over here, now I don't give a damn what all the people talk, all that yak on Facebook, right? Because the folks on Facebook, they see one line and I got 500 comments responding to me, calling me an idiot, and I'm like, well, that's nice, but if you guys don't actually watch the video and pay attention to the full conversation, I don't give a damn what you got to say, right? So like I said, she's the antagonist. She's moving the story forward. The villain is Vader. It's about the beef between between Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Reva is an agent of Vader, and she's the one driving the story forward. Without Reva, you have no plot, right? Who set it up to kidnap Leia? Who's the one trying to gain favor with Vader, right? For whatever reason, Reva knows about this whole thing between Obi-Wan and Anakin. How she knows that, we don't know. Some people have a problem with it. I'm like, yo, if they told all of that stuff in the first episode from the very beginning, hey man, then this show would be it would be a 3-pump chump, right? And no woman wants a 3-pump chump. It don't matter what he can do for her, how much money. Well, the only women I know that want a 3-pump chump, she's there for the wrong reason, right? And it is what it is, right? But no woman that actually wants her man, she don't want no 3-pump chump, right? I don't know what it is about these people who want everything explained to them from the very beginning, right? Like, that makes me wonder, like, what kind of life, who raised you? Like, what kind of life experiences do you have? None. You haven't taken a single risk. You need to know everything up front before you do anything, before you embark on any, like, I don't know. Like I said, man, some of these people, these fundamentist cats, they ain't built like me, man. I mean, like seriously, I got on an airplane, with a backpack and a suitcase and said, all right, peace out. I'm going to Southeast Asia and I don't know when I'm coming back. I might not ever come back, right? I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to be waiting on me when I get off the airplane in Bangkok, right? I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm okay with that, right? I talk about this real life Jedi stuff, right? I have a Taoist teacher who's in China who I'd like to go see one day when the world returns back to normal. I don't know what's going to happen over there. I've read some stuff about when you go train with him is freaking scary, man. Like, you think Palpatine shooting lightning and all that's story stuff. But hey, man, what did Ahsoka say? There's always some truth in legends. I'm not gonna say what it's like to be in a room with him when he meditates and he's like trying to open up your Dantian and all this other stuff. It's freaking scary. And I'm like, yo, man, like, I want to know if it's real. Is everybody just talking BS, or is it real, right? And I don't know what to expect, but the only way to know, right? I was telling somebody this on my martial arts channel. The only way to know is to go and the only way to know is to experience it for yourself. Like Bruce Lee said, ultimately all knowledge is self-knowledge, right? The only thing you know is the knowledge that you experience for yourself. That's the only way you can truly know. So why do these people need to know? And the only way to know is to go on the voyage, the journey. So all these people need to know everything about Reva. We don't know her backstory. I don't like how she knows that Anakin is Vader, and she knows all. Well, the only way you can know is to go on the journey with her and everything will be revealed, right? So this conversation Reva's having with Leia, right? She says, the braver you seem, the more afraid you are. I learned that at an early age. It was taken from me like everything else. I know what it's like being alone. Look, these people that you're protecting, they aren't coming for you. These people, they'll leave you too. They'll leave you to die. Right? That's her speaking. That's not her trying to, there's the Sith technique. It's a fighting technique where they basically talk trash to you, like Vader does it in the movies to Luke, right? They try to make you start to doubt yourself, because if you have doubt, you aren't present, you aren't in the moment, right? And using the Force is just about being in the moment. But if you're having doubts and you start to think about all of this stuff, basically, like Star Wars speak, it weakens your connection to the Force, right? What is it? I'm one with the Force is with me. Well, if this person is talking trash to me and they're like, you ain't shit, you ain't about shit, you never gonna be shit, you never were shit, right? And you got some dude with a red lightsaber, talking trash to you, like, this is gonna sound bad, but an angry black woman who's completely emasculating you, Jada Pinkett. I'm getting in trouble for that one, but I don't give a damn. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? So, like you start, maybe I'm really not shit. Maybe I really ain't about shit. Man, I'm right. Like, you're thinking all of this, you're not here, you're not present, you're not in the moment, right? That's what it means to weaken your connection to the Force, right? So she's saying all of this, but she's speaking from her own experience. She's not just saying that to weaken Leia's resolve and lower her confidence. That's her. That's all coming from her. That's stuff she experienced, right? And it's funny, she's talking about all of it, because as she's saying all of that, what's happening? Obi-Wan Kenobi he really is coming there to rescue her. He really is not going to leave her there to die. And in the process of Obi-Wan doing everything that Reva says that he's not going to do, he's doing everything that she said he ain't going to do. He's getting stronger in the Force, right? What did he do? He used the Force to hold back the ocean, right? And then, then he let it loose on all the stormtroopers, and I was loving that, right? But it's amazing. Like, Reva's talking all of this stuff, and in the end, like, Vader is about to Force choke the hell out of her. That was a dope scene when he, is Force choking her and he Force pushes her, Force chokes her, and has her suspended in the air, legs dangling and everything, like she's up against a wall, but she's not. That was dope, right? That was dope, right? I mean, I'm not one of these big people on like wanting to see Vader just, like the end of Rogue One. People like Star Wars Theory like that kind of stuff. Star Wars Theory's crying. He's gonna probably cry if they don't do any Clone Wars flashbacks, and I hope they don't, just because, I'm not gonna say. I'm really trying not to say what I really want to say, but yeah. I really enjoyed this episode. The third sister failed, but she didn't, right? Because she planted a tracker on Leia's droid. And I had figured that out before they even showed the droid. But it was really interesting, right? That the whole baptismal waters idea of Obi-Wan and Vader rise together. And there's going to be a rematch. It's inevitable. We know somehow, some way that Obi-Wan is going to humiliate Vader. I don't know what that's going to do to Reva. I'm hearing that that Reva's going to get a spinoff. She's going to get a solo show. Is it going to be a prequel story? Is it going to be a sequel? Is Obi-Wan going to get a season 2? What will they do in a season 2? Will it be all about Obi-Wan and his training, to become an immortal, basically a Jedi immortal, to become one with the Force? I don't know, but they did a lot with this short episode. Now, yeah, there's people talking about, oh, this is stupid. The Obi-Wan, he put Leia under his coat and they nearly snuck off the base. And I was like, yo, they're not gonna make it off. Somebody's gonna figure out that what's going on, and Reva did. And I mean, like, you got to remember, Star Wars is meant for, it's a coming of age story for 12-year-olds. So no matter how hardcore they get, at the end of the day, it's something meant for kids. It's a coming of age story for kids, right? If you take The Mandalorian season 1, season 2, what was the big heart of the story, right? Is Grogu, saving Grogu, right? The Mandalorian becomes Mando dad, and he's got the child, right? And this is, you swap out Din Djarin for Obi-Wan Kenobi, swap out Baby Yoda for Baby Leia, same story, right? Except in one, it's the Imperial remnant on the outskirts of the Outer Rim, the people who haven't fled into some nebula in the unknown regions to form the First Order, right? And here you have the full-fledged Empire. But it's the same thing, right? It's really the same story. There's always going to be some kid element, right? I won't be surprised at all if we get to the Ahsoka series and she's looking for Ezra and they find Thrawn, and there ends up at the heart of the story being some Skywalker kid. And when I say Skywalker, for those of y'all who haven't been reading or aren't familiar with the Timothy Zahn's canon Thrawn work, in the Chiss race, their word for a Force sensitive is a Skywalker because they're navigators, right? And the problem is, and the navigators are all children. When they reach 14, 15, and it's usually all girls, they lose their ability to be a Skywalker, right? And you got this one chick who's old, who's an adult, and she can still use the Force. And I'm kind of thinking that, if those children actually learned how to train like a Jedi trains, right, that they would probably retain their ability to be Skywalkers, and they learn that there's more to third sight. There's more to third sight than just third sight, right? Third sight is the Jedi's precognition, right? Being able to see things before they happen. That's how they navigate the ships. They don't use nav computers when they're navigating hyperspace lanes, which was something that, I guess that's why that's the big story in the High Republic, and that's not something I've been keeping up with either. But I have a feeling that somehow, some way, stuff in the High Republic is going to end up connecting to, if they have something happen with Thrawn and the Gris and the freaking civil war going on within the Chiss Ascendancy, which is like the Chiss Empire and their part of space somewhere out in the unknown regions, and Ahsoka and Ezra and the Rebel sequel, that all gets into that, right? I got a lot of stuff I've been holding off since freaking 2020 that I haven't said, like predictions and stuff that I have for Rebels and Ahsoka and Ezra's story. When I said I had a response to what's that guy, the Den of Nerds? I blocked him on everything because he was starting to be a little bitch. But yeah, all the stuff that he said, I was like, yeah, I got a response. And I think a lot of people thought I was gonna like hype up the stuff I was getting ready to shoot all of that dumb shit down that he said. I don't really care about people in the Star Wars community, so why are you talking trash? Because I don't care. I'm not gonna play the little games that they play where this person doesn't like this person, but they will never say it. I'm like, yo, man, I don't care about trying to be the biggest Star Wars creator. I do my kung fu thing, and if any of them got a problem with it, come to workshop when we get them set up and we can move around and I don't know, post it on YouTube, right? We'll have some fun, right? But anyway, y'all, those are my thoughts on this episode. I'd like to hear from you. So what did you guys think about Leia, Obi-Wan, and Reva? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be checking back to see what y'all have to say. and I'm all in for episodes 5 and 6. Let's see what this story is going to do and where it's going to go and how it's going to end up. So yeah, that's all I got for this one. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.